First of all, I would like to thank because you made me the first person, or probably the only person amongst 1.45 billion people, Indians, to watch Avatar Fire and Ash. That that feels very, very special. Thank you very much for that.
It's our pleasure, and thank you once again. Thank you so much for doing this. I think it's important for filmmakers to talk and compare, similarities in their mental creative process and in their technique and so on. I'd love to come to your set. May I come to your set sometime and watch you create your magic?
Oh, that would be an absolute pleasure, sir. You're most welcome. And I mean, not just me, not just my unit, my entire film industry will be thrilled.
Well, I can't think of anything I'd rather do. So I think you're shooting for a while, right? On the new film on Varanasi.
Yes, sir. It's almost a year now, and another 7, 8 months to go. Yes,
Oh,
we are in the middle of the shoot.
okay, plenty of time. Well, tell me
Yes,
when
sir.
you're doing something fun. I don't know, something with tigers.
Yeah, 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 definitely, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Sir, watching Fire and Ash was an absolute pleasure. I,
Well, thank
I
you.
mean, hats off to you for creating those complex sequences, those visuals, those characters. I mean, I can
Thank you.
go on and on. But
Thank you.
but for me, I was like a child in the theater watching them, the Wind
Good.
Traders,
Good.
Ash people, the new characters. Warang was absolutely stunning. But I
Thank
thought
you.
for me, after I come back from the theater, when as it wouldn't leave my mind, your film wouldn't leave my mind. What really got me hooked was Jake's moral dilemma.
Hmm.
I thought Avatar, the first Avatar had it. It was so strong. Jake's moral dilemma between
Yes.
the Navi and his own people. I
Yes.
thought, can he ever beat it in the
Right.
coming films? Can he ever beat it? But I think in this, it is much more stronger. I mean, if I talk a little bit more about it, probably I'll be a spoiler. I don't want to be that, but
We'll dance around the spoilers. I call them teasers.
yes, yes. So my question, my actual question is that Avatar has like innumerable subworlds in it. There are so many characters, strong characters, fun characters, complex characters, and I'm sure you have many more characters in your mind than in the film.
Correct.
So when you have so much of information, so much of playthings around you, which one do you give precedence? The emotional crux or the characters, or can't you separate them? I want to know at the writing table what drives you forward.
I think, look, for me, a really critical part of working with the actors to create these interesting and rounded and quirky and unique characters is the writing process. So on these films, I worked with other screenwriters to shape the story. But then I took it and I ran with it myself, and I wanted to individuate each character. Now, some of the characters were new, and some of them were for actors I'd worked with before, like Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana, because they were in the first film, and Stephen Lang. And I wanted to hear it in the sound of the dialogue that I knew it would sound like coming from them. So and there's a lot of me in each one of the characters: the stern father, the misunderstood son, even the strong women. I don't know, maybe I was female in a number of past lives or something. For some reason, I can relate to that. But I think, the more likely explanation is that I've always been attracted to strong women. My mother was a very strong figure in our family, as is the case with a lot of people. Um, so the writing gives me something useful to help the actors. I always believe it's the director's job. Yes, you're supposed to be the visionary and the architect and all that, but really in the actual moment of creation, it's really, I feel I'm just there to be helpful. What do you need? What helps you? What prompting or what discussion or what creative dialogue helps the actor in that moment? And every actor, as you know, is different, so you have to key in to their different creative processes. But it gives me a way to be useful to them, having written the characters and thought through all of these conflicts and I think of them as collisions. The characters are colliding with each other. Every scene there's some tension. Maybe they're attracted but something's keeping them apart. Maybe they hate each other like Jake and Quaritch, but maybe there's something that's pulling them together that has to be resolved. And it's those little discoveries when you go along in the writing process. One of my big discoveries, I love that you focus on Jake's moral dilemma, because that was a critical part for me. And to me, there are even dimensions within that. His dilemma is, I'm a warrior, I'm supposed to defend my people, but if I take them to battle on a big scale, as he knows he can do, he's done it in the past, if he gathers the clans together and if he takes the battle to the enemy, he knows they're technologically superior, they have vast numbers, and many of his people will die. And that's the great dilemma of leadership, right? And Jake has to resolve that for himself. But he also has the dilemma of being a father. He now can't be that young, reckless guy that just jumps onto a creature and tames it, and he's got a family, he's got a responsibility. And he knows if he brings them into battle, his own sons, his own children could die. But yet, and it kills him, it tortures him to not fight. And of course, as an audience, we want to see the gunslinger go out and dig up the guns and go back into town and shoot the bad guy. We know it's a myth that goes back thousands of years, the reluctant warrior, right? So I'm not creating new ground with that, but I thought that somehow juxtaposing him as the reluctant warrior and the father confronting a generational issue with respect to, being this legendary figure, I thought that might be an interesting problem. And Sam Worthington, from the first film to the second film, he became a father. He has 3 sons. So it was much more available to him to play the heartbreak of the loss of a child, which they're, coming out of movie 2 into movie 3, they're under this cloud or this shadow of loss. Anyway, thank you for that, because it's one of the things that was my focus as the screenwriter on this.